Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is VC Pramod with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says mantra to stay relevant in times of coronavirus is to skill, reskill and upskill. Virtual Indian-European Union Summit to be held this evening. Prime Minister says summit will strengthen India's economic and cultural linkages with Europe. Over 592,000 people recovered from COVID-19 in the country so far. In Karnataka, strict lockdown guidelines being implemented in Bengaluru urban and rural districts till 22nd of July. Girls outshine boys in the CBSE Class 10th examination results announced today. Overall pass percentage is 91.46. And IMD Mumbai issues orange alert warning of heavy to very heavy rainfall in the city and other coastal areas for the next 2 days. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has exhorted the youth to skill, reskill and upskill in order to remain relevant in the rapidly changing business environment and market conditions. He was addressing a virtual conclave on World Youth Skills Day organized by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship today. Mr. Modi said, skill is timeless, it keeps getting better with time and it makes people different from others.
रिलेवेंट रहने का मंत्र है स्किल, रीस्किल और अपस्किल। स्किल का अर्थ है आप कोई नया हुनर सीखें, जैसे कि आपने लकड़ी के एक टुकड़े से कुर्सी बनाना सीखा तो आपका हुनर हुआ। आपने लकड़ी के उस टुकड़े की कीमत भी बढ़ा दी, वैल्यू एडिशन किया, लेकिन ये कीमत बनी रहे इसके लिए नई डिजाइन, नई स्टाइल और कुछ नया सीखते रहने का मतलब ही है रीस्किल। और हमारी जो स्किल है उसका और विस्तार करना, जैसे छोटे मोटे फर्नीचर बनाते बनाते आप और भी चीजें सीखते गए, पूरा का पूरा ऑफिस डिजाइन करने लग गए, तो वो हो गया अपस्किल।
He said skills are not only a means to livelihood, but also a reason to feel lively and energetic in our daily routine. The Prime Minister said in a rapidly changing world, millions of skilled people are needed and there is a huge potential, especially in the health services. Mr. Modi said the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship has started mapping the opportunities being created around the world so that the youth of the country can get an accurate information about the needs of other countries also.
तेजी से बदलती हुई आज की दुनिया में अनेक सेक्टरों में लाखों स्किल लोगों की जरूरत है। विशेषकर स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं में तो बहुत बड़ी संभावनाएं बन रही है। यही समझते हुए अब कौशल विकास मंत्रालय ने दुनिया भर में बन रहे इन अवसरों की मैपिंग शुरू की है। कोशिश यही है कि भारत के युवा को अन्य देशों की जरूरतों के बारे में उसके संबंध में भी सही और सटीक जानकारी मिल सके।
Mr. Modi emphasized that the skills of migrant workers would also help in changing the local economy.
कैसे एक खास स्किल सेट के साथ गांव पहुंचे लोगों ने गांवों का कायाकल्प करना शुरू कर दिया है। कोई स्कूल को पेंट कर रहा है तो कोई डिजाइन के घर बनवा रहा है। छोटी बड़ी हर तरफ की ऐसी ही स्किल आत्मनिर्भर भारत की ही बहुत बड़ी शक्ति बनेगी।
He suggested that the Indian youth with a long maritime tradition can contribute as expert sailors to merchant navies across the world due to the growing demand in this sector. The Prime Minister stated that the Skill India mission, launched 5 years back on the same day, has led to a creation of a vast infrastructure for skilling, reskilling and upskilling and enhancing opportunities to access employment both locally and globally. It has led to hundreds of Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendras being set up across the country, an increase in the capacity of the ITI ecosystem. Due to these concerted efforts, more than 5 crore youth have been skilled in the last 5 years. The Prime Minister said Corona crisis has changed the nature of job and the work culture. He said changing technology has also influenced it.
कोरोना के इस संकट ने वर्क कल्चर के साथ ही नेचर ऑफ जॉब को भी बदल करके रख दिया है और बदलती हुई नित्य नूतन टेक्नोलॉजी ने भी उस पर प्रभाव पैदा किया है। नए वर्क कल्चर और नए नेचर ऑफ जॉब को देखते हुए हमारे युवा नई नई स्किल्स को तेजी से अपना रहे हैं।
Mr. Modi said it is important for the youth to realize the difference between knowledge and skills and their different contexts and implications. The Prime Minister urged everyone to wear masks, maintain social distancing and stay safe. Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi created a separate ministry for skill development, keeping in mind its importance in the country. In a tweet, Mr. Javadekar highlighted the value of skill creation and said that the Skill Development Ministry empowers youth of the country. He said it makes them more employable and more productive in their work. Mr. Javadekar informed that in the last 5 years, under the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, nearly 92,000 candidates from different regions of the country have been trained for more than 250 job roles. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has stressed on the need to upgrade knowledge and skills to cater to the post-COVID world. He said that the country needs to focus on skill, scale and speed to remain globally competitive in a post-COVID world. In an article written in a leading daily, Mr. Naidu asserted that various initiatives under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan are meant to reboot the economy and protect livelihoods across rural and urban areas. He said the campaign, which aims to push self-reliance, seeks to build capacities across sectors and promote local products in the country as well as globally.
The 15th meeting of the India-European Union Summit will be held in virtual mode today. The summit will be co-chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, President of the European Council Charles Michel and President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen. In a tweet, Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed confidence that the summit will further strengthen India's economic as well as cultural linkages with Europe. The summit will review India-EU cooperation covering trade, investment, political and security relations, developments related to the COVID-19 pandemic and contemporary global matters of interest to both sides are expected to be discussed. A report.
The summit is taking place as the EU is attaching priority to its relationship with India and trying to look at the partnership in a more substantive way. The new presidents of the European Commission and European Council had taken over in December last year. The new leadership believes that the EU needs to play a stronger role in the global platform and has shown a lot of interest in India. In the year 2000, India and the European Union decided to institutionalize the mechanism at the summit level. This year marks 20 years of the summit process between India and the EU. The last summit between the two sides took place in 2017. With Anand Chaturvedi, Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
The government today said the COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 63.24%. A total of 5,92,032 people have recovered in the country so far. In the last 24 hours, 20,572 people have recovered from COVID-19. Presently, the total number of active cases is 3,19,840. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said a total of 29,429 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 9,36,181. In a single day, 582 deaths have been reported, taking the nationwide toll to 24,309. The case fatality rate in the country is 2.6%. 30 states and union territories have lower fatality rate than the national average. Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR said that a total of 3,20,161 tests were conducted by various laboratories in the country in the last 24 hours. This is the highest number of tests conducted in the country in one day since the outbreak of the pandemic in the country. So far, 1,24,12,664 tests have been conducted. As of now, a total of 1,223 laboratories across India have been given approval to conduct COVID-19 tests. This includes 865 government laboratories and 358 private laboratory chains. As lockdown commenced yesterday night in Bengaluru urban and rural districts, the health, police and municipal authorities took over the streets of the city to impose lockdown guidelines till 22nd July. The task forces set up at the booth level are visiting homes to reverse, isolate vulnerable sections of the society and to carry out rapid antigen tests. The shops selling essential commodities were allowed to open till noon. Industrial clusters in urban and rural districts were exempted from the lockdown. More from our correspondent.
Several roads in Bengaluru city are barricaded since yesterday to regulate traffic. The police seized vehicles of those found moving around without any valid reason. The city police commissioner Bhaskar Rao has warned commuters that a case will be slapped if they are found violating the lockdown. He has invited service-minded youngsters to volunteer as civil defense wardens to help the local police in regulation and enforcement of anti-COVID measures. On the other hand, the BBMP marshals were imposing fine on people without masks. In the last 125 days, COVID active cases have swelled to 15,599 and death to 378 in Bengaluru urban district. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Bihar, a complete lockdown will be imposed from tomorrow for 16 days in the entire state. It will be effective from 16th till 31st of July to contain the spread of COVID-19. The decision has been taken due to an alarming spike in number of cases in the state during last 3 weeks. A report.
During the lockdown, government offices and public corporations and educational institutions will remain closed. All private and commercial establishments will also remain closed. Offices related to judicial work will function as per the guidelines issued by Patna High Court Administration. All places of worship and religious gatherings will also remain closed. However, ration shops, dairy, vegetables and meat shops will remain open, as also all kinds of e-commerce and home delivery. Public transport service will also be allowed in the lockdown period. However, private vehicles will be limited to essential work only. Train and flight services have been allowed. All construction-related activities will be allowed, along with the functioning of construction-related shops. Similarly, agriculture-related activities will also be allowed, along with the functioning of agriculture-related shops. With KK Lal's report from Patna, Tripti Srivastav, AIR News.
Bihar recorded 1,432 new COVID-19 positive cases during the last 24 hours. This is the highest single-day increase in number of coronavirus cases. The total number of COVID-19 cases in the state now mounted to 18,853. On the other hand, 13,019 persons have recovered so far. The recovery rate in Bihar stands at 69%. 160 persons, including 2 doctors, have died due to coronavirus in the state so far. Bihar BJP office has been shut after 24 office bearers tested positive for COVID-19. Additional Chief Secretary Amir Subhani and a DIG of police are among those who have tested positive. 296 police officials also had tested positive. In Maharashtra, as several places are again heading for a lockdown, the Commissioner of the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, Iqbal Singh Chahal, has said that the city does not need the lockdown as the situation is under control. More in this report.
According to Mumbai's Municipal Commissioner Iqbal Singh Chahal, unlike other cities such as Thane, Navi Mumbai and Kalyan Dombivli, Mumbai does not need a lockdown. He said that the BMC has ramped up testing resources and now it is conducting more than 6,500 tests daily. On the other hand, at faraway Chandrapur in Vidarbha, the Municipal Corporation has devised a concept to help students from municipal schools to take education. Under the concept, Shala Band Shikshan Suru, means schools shut, education on, the teachers themselves have started visiting the homes of students. There are around 21 municipal schools which has about 2,400 students and 74 teachers in Chandrapur. These 74 teachers visit the homes of as many as 10 students daily and take their classes. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Madhya Pradesh, the COVID-19 case count has risen to 19,000 with addition of 798 new cases yesterday. The death toll in the state has also risen to 673. A total of 367 persons were discharged from hospitals yesterday, taking the number of the recovered cases to 13,575. Meanwhile, our correspondent reports that a lockdown has been imposed in Gwalior for a week.
In view of the increasing infection of coronavirus, a lockdown has been announced for a week from 7 p.m. yesterday in Gwalior. This lockdown has been imposed on the line of curfew so that people leave the houses only for very important work. So far, 1,200 corona infection cases have been reported in Gwalior. Gwalior Collector Kaushlit Vikram Singh said that arrangements have been made to ensure services like medical, emergency aid and essential commodities are taken care of amid the restrictions. All kind of social, religious and political programs have been banned in this period. Administration said that crowding will attract panel provisions and district borders have been sealed. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal today said around 20 to 23,000 COVID-19 tests are being conducted in the city every day and the national capital is in a better situation as compared to June. Briefing media in New Delhi this afternoon, Mr. Kejriwal said there were 4,100 beds in Delhi as on 1st of June and today there are 15,500 beds. He said there are 2,100 ICU beds of which 1,100 are vacant. He stressed that people have the confidence today that in case they need to be hospitalized, there will be no shortages. Mr. Kejriwal said as per estimates, 2.25 lakh cases were predicted by 15th of July in Delhi, but after united efforts, the cases today are half of the prediction.
In Mizoram, 5 new cases of coronavirus infection were reported, while 8 patients were discharged in the last 24 hours. With this, the total tally has reached 238 in the state, while active cases presently stand at 79. An official statement said the 5 new cases were confirmed out of 224 samples tested yesterday. The 5 patients are BSF personnel who were in quarantine after returning from other states. 159 patients have been discharged so far after recovering from coronavirus infection. Arunachal Pradesh recorded its highest single-day spike of 75 COVID-19 cases yesterday, taking the state's tally to 462. Itanagar Capital Complex accounted for 49 out of 75 fresh cases. Meanwhile, 8 COVID-19 patients were released from the hospital following their recovery. The total number of active cases in the state stands at 306, with 153 discharged and 3 deaths.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says mantra to stay relevant in times of coronavirus is to skill, reskill and upskill. Virtual India-European Union Summit to be held this evening. Prime Minister says summit will strengthen India's economic and cultural linkages with Europe. Over 5,92,000 people recovered from COVID-19 in the country so far. In Karnataka, strict lockdown guidelines being implemented in Bengaluru urban and rural districts till 22nd July. Girls outshine boys in the CBSE Class 10th examination results announced today. Overall pass percentage is 91.46. And IMD Mumbai issues orange alert warning of heavy to very heavy rainfall in the city and other coastal areas for the next 2 days. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter, handle at AIR News Alerts.
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program today will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha, Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at @AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of some leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Nand Kumar, Professor of Psychiatry, AIIMS, suggested to the people to stay at home, spend time with family members and practice yoga.
We are going to overcome this crisis within a few weeks. Stay at home, spend time with the family, do household works, exercise, listen to music, sing with the family, do yoga, meditation, and take care of emotional need of the family.
Dr. Sanjay Pandey of Govind Ballabh Pant Hospital, Delhi, spoke about the use of masks, saying it is important to wear them while stepping out of home.
ऐसे रिपोर्ट आए हैं कि कोरोना का इफेक्ट दिमाग पर पड़ता है और जो हमारा पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम है दोनों पर पड़ता है. तो कई बार बहुत ही स्मॉल परसेंटेज ऑफ पेशेंट जिसमें कोरोना एक सीवियर कैटेगरी का होता है उसमें दिमाग पर असर हो सकता है, जैसे इंकेफेलाइटिस की तरह की प्रेजेंटेशन हो सकती है या कई बार पेरिफेरल नर्व सिस्टम का इन्वॉल्वमेंट हो सकता है. लेकिन इस तरह के मरीजों की संख्या बहुत ही कम है और ऐसा तभी होता है जब हम प्रारंभिक लक्षणों को नजरअंदाज करें और बीमारी का ट्रीटमेंट न करें. तो इसमें घबराने वाली कोई बात नहीं है। इसके बारे में सतर्क जरूर रहना चाहिए, जागरूक जरूर होना चाहिए और अगर इस तरह के कोई लक्षण होए तो अपने डॉक्टर के साथ शेयर करना चाहिए ताकि आपका जल्द से जल्द इलाज हो सके।
The Tamil Nadu government has approved the trial of BCG vaccines in elderly persons to study its impact on reducing the intensity of COVID-19. In a release today, the government has said the study will be coordinated by the Chennai-based National Institute of Research in Tuberculosis. More from our correspondent.
BCG vaccine is originally intended for infants. It is aimed at removing the bacteria that causes tuberculosis. However, there is a growing belief that it may be useful in the fight against COVID-19 as well. Tentative results of a few preliminary studies show that countries administering the vaccine to their children have a comparative advantage over the others in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, the Indian Council for Medical Research (ICMR) asked the Tamil Nadu government to approve launching such a study. The state government has immediately agreed to the proposal and has announced that the research institution under the ICMR, the National Institute of Research in Tuberculosis, will soon begin administering the BCG vaccine to a group of elderly people over the age of 60. If the study gives strong evidence that it improves their innate immunity and reduces the morbidity and mortality rates, it will help global efforts to contain the evasive virus. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
CBSE has announced the results of the Class 10th examinations. The overall pass percentage is 91.46%. Girls have outshined boys again this year with a pass percentage of 93.31%. A total of 90.14% boys and 78.95% transgenders have passed. Trivandrum region has recorded the highest pass percentage of 99.28% and Guwahati region has recorded the lowest at 79.12%. CBSE said there has been a marginal increase in the pass percentage since last year. Students can check their results at cbsc.nic.in or cbscresults.nic.in. The results can also be checked via DigiLocker and Umang apps. In a tweet, Human Resource Development Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank congratulated everyone for making this possible and reiterated that students' health and quality education are the government's priority.
Incessant rains have been lashing Mumbai, Thane, Palghar and other areas of coastal Maharashtra since last night. The IMD Mumbai has issued an orange alert warning of heavy to very heavy rainfall for the next 2 days in Mumbai and other coastal areas including Pune. The forecast indicate very heavy spells with possibilities of isolated extremely heavy rains. The trend is likely to continue tomorrow as well with little reduced intensity. Meanwhile, waterlogging has been reported in low-lying areas of Hindmata, King's Circle, Mahim Junction, SV Road, Andheri, Khar Subway, KFC Bandra and Chandiwali Junction. The Mumbai Police has requested commuters to avoid these routes and venture out only if it's essential. The IMD said Mumbai received very heavy rainfall, wherein 156 mm of rainfall was recorded at Dadar in central Mumbai, 122 mm in Kolaba and 97 mm in Santa Cruz. The notices have been issued to 19 Congress MLAs, including Sachin Pilot from Rajasthan Assembly, after the party sought their disqualification from the State Assembly. Sacked Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot and the other MLAs were asked to respond to the notices by Friday. The notices were issued yesterday on petition filed by Chief Whip Mahesh Joshi. The MLAs had defied a whip and did not attend the legislature party meetings held on Monday and Tuesday. Mr. Joshi wrote to the Speaker seeking proceedings against the rebel MLAs in accordance with the 10th schedule of the Constitution. A report.
Number of Congress MLAs supporting the government has come down to 88. The Gehlot government will need 13 more MLAs for majority. The government now needs the support of independents and MLAs of other parties. However, there is also a question that whether whip will be applicable in the case of the meeting held outside the assembly. Overall, there are many legal complications in this proceeding. Congress MLAs supporting the government are still camping in a hotel near Jaipur. On the other hand, Sachin Pilot is yet to issue a statement. Leader of the opposition, Gulab Chand Kataria, has said that the Chief Minister should come forward and prove majority in the assembly. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that the Partial Credit Guarantee Scheme (PCGS) was revamped under the Atmanirbhar Bharat package to support the liability side of non-banking financial companies (NBFCs). It provides a 20% portfolio guarantee to public sector banks for the purchase of bonds or commercial papers rated AA and below, which are issued by the NBFCs. In a tweet, Ms. Sitharaman said as of 10th of July, under the extended PCGS, public sector banks have approved the purchase bonds or commercial papers issued by 67 NBFCs amounting to 14,667 crore rupees. Of these, 6,845 crore rupees is for bonds or commercial papers rated below AA, providing liquidity support to NBFCs with lower rated bonds or commercial papers. She said further, the purchase of bonds or commercial papers of 6,125 crore rupees, including 5,550 crore rupees of bonds or commercial papers rated below AA, is currently under various stages of approval or at the negotiation stage.
In Assam, over 33 lakh people are affected by the current surge of water in the state. 2 persons lost their lives today, taking the death toll to 61. SDRF and NDRF teams evacuated 3,000 people to safer places this morning. Several major rivers are in spate. 25,000 people have been shifted to relief camps. District administrations are distributing relief materials to people. Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal visited a flood relief camp at Tewak in Jorhat district today. He instructed the administration to take proper care of the inmates. The US government has dropped its plans to deport international students whose courses have moved fully online because of the coronavirus pandemic. The decision comes a little over a week after US President Donald Trump's administration had announced the policy. Harvard University and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology sued the government over the plan. District Judge Alison Burroughs in Massachusetts said the parties have come to a settlement. Foreign students were told last week that they would not be allowed to stay in the US this autumn unless they switched to a course with in-person tuition. US President Donald Trump has signed a bill to impose sanctions on Chinese officials implementing the oppressive law against Hong Kong. The US President told a press conference that this law gives his administration powerful new tools to hold responsible the individuals and the entities involved in extinguishing Hong Kong's freedom. Mr. Trump has also signed an order to end preferential treatment for Hong Kong as his administration adopts an increasingly tough stance on China. He said Hong Kong will now be treated the same as mainland China. Mr. Trump said it will end the preferential trade treatment Hong Kong has received for years. Mr. Trump and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo have blamed China for the spread of the coronavirus pandemic and criticized Beijing for its Hong Kong crackdown. China had recently imposed a new security law to bring an end to Hong Kong's special status, agreed under a 1984 pact between China and the UK. The former British colony was returned to the Chinese rule in 1997 with a law protecting freedoms of speech, assembly and the press until 2047.
Now let us take a look at the weather for today. The national capital Delhi may witness generally cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature was recorded at 29 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 37 degrees. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The city witnessed a minimum temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and will have a maximum of around 28 degrees. In Chennai, the temperature will hover between 26 and 32 degrees Celsius. The city will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius. The maximum temperature will be 34 degrees. In Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 37 degrees.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says mantra to stay relevant in times of coronavirus is to skill, reskill and upskill. Virtual Indian-European Union Summit to be held this evening. Prime Minister says summit will strengthen India's economic and cultural linkages with Europe. Over 5,92,000 people recovered from COVID-19 in the country so far. In Karnataka, strict lockdown guidelines being implemented in Bengaluru urban and rural districts till 22nd of July. Girls outshine boys in the CBSE Class 10th examination results announced today. Overall pass percentage is 91.46. And IMD Mumbai issues orange alert warning of heavy to very heavy rainfall in the city. And with that, we